Okay, so this is where we're at with the Traxxas and Dragster project. Um, Last video you guys saw was with it running in the wet sand. I didn't quite like the takeoff on it, so I decided to change the gear ratio on it. I was using the 68 tooth spur, which comes with the Traxxas, and 22 tooth pinion on the motor on that last video. I decided that just wasn't going to give me the right speed on the takeoff. I tried it on the dry sand and it worked, but not as good as I would hope. So I decided to do a little change. Traxxas doesn't give you many options as to the spur on this thing, and that's a problem because this motor being bigger than the original one, I couldn't go with anything smaller than the 22 tooth pinion. I think I might have tried a 21, but I didn't like how it was meshing. So I decided, okay, I need a bigger spur. Like I said, Traxxas doesn't give you one for this guy. Now, what I had to do was kind of get a little funny with it. You get a lot of options with smaller spurs because you can use something, like Jado spurs on it. If you want to go to a smaller spur, but that's only going to speed up the dragster. That's if you want to get like a higher top speed on it with the stock motor and 3S, and you just want to go really fast. You get a smaller spur, bigger pinion, and you get more speed. That's not going to work out in this case. Jados don't offer anything bigger than the 68 tooth spur. But yeah, hold on, baby. But then I was able to figure a little something out. As you can see, I have a 72 tooth spur in there. This spur was not easy to come across. This is a T-Max spur. As you heard, it's a T-Max, not an E-Max. I don't know for sure if the E-Max has the same kind of spur. I haven't tried it. But this is a T-Max spur. It's got kind of like the same design where it's got these little holes in there where it will recess into a differential, and these open ones here where you put actually the other way around. This goes into a differential, bloop, and then here go the bolts to hold it down. Well, in this case, because this is for a T-Max, they don't take into consideration the spacing in here for you to be able to put that in there. So if I were to put this the right way, which is with these guys with the little notch down, it actually rubs against the bottom of this differential case. So I had to flip it over so that it will actually clear that and actually clear the front cover. What happens when you do that is you don't have these guides anymore to hold on to the differential part and keep this thing from wobbling around. Yeah, the centerpiece does hold it, but you want a little bit extra, to keep the whole thing in place. So what I did was I went ahead and put some washers in there. Those little metal washers that are the same size as the hole. And those metal washers, the hole that goes through them is about the same size as the bolt that goes through them, so it kind of keeps it all nice and centered in there, real tight. For the bottom of this spur, I also put those same washers to give it a little bit more room so it'll clear the bottom. You will need to do that as well. Again, this is a T-Max 72 tooth spur. I'm pretty sure I could fit the 74 tooth that they have for the T-Max, but I haven't ordered it yet to try it, so don't quote me on that one. Don't even try it yet until I try it, okay? But it seems to me like there's enough room in there still for a 74 tooth. Anyway, the cool thing about using the 72 tooth in this setup is that I can use smaller pinions. This here is a 16 tooth pinion, which you're not going to be able to see from this camera, I think. It's got a little 1 and a 6 there. Just take my word for it. That's a 16 tooth pinion. What this does, it gives you a 4.5 to 1 gear ratio, which all it means is this motor is going to turn 4.5 times for 1 time of the dry wheels. That's really good. The reason I went with a really tiny pinion is because yeah, it worked with the 20 tooth, which I was using on it to test, which is this big guy here. I used it. It works awesome in the sand. It's able to take off with a lot of power, spins the wheels and everything at the 2S level. So the 20 tooth with the 72 tooth here works. But I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Why? Because this motor is capable of 6S and I'm running it with 2S. So I went ahead and put the 16 tooth pinion in there and kind of went a little crazy and ordered this guy. It's a 5,000 milliamp hour 3S battery. Now this would not work with a bigger pinion and these tires being glued. I had to go to the 16 tooth pinion because anything bigger than that and those tires would, rip out. They did twice when I tried it with the bigger pinions. I had to re-glue them, which is a pain in the butt, as you guys already know. So I had to go with the 16 tooth pinion. It is about, I want to say, let me see, I had with the 68 tooth spur and the 22 tooth pinion. It's a little bit faster than that, so they do balloon a little bit more than what you guys saw on that first video where I had them ballooning. They do stretch out a little bit more, but they don't rip out of the rim, so it works for now. It's not that big of an issue because, again, when you get into the sand, they don't get much of a chance to be expand that much because you have a lot of drag with the sand, so they don't get a chance to actually spin to that high RPM. But this combination should be the best of both worlds because it will give you that speed with that 3S battery. So it'll give you the top end, but it'll also give you a lot of takeoff power. Now, for the brakes, or failures, I guess. I did not have this wheelie bar set really far down because of the sand. When it starts digging in, I didn't want it to be revving too far down, but what happened was that it wasn't really holding on too much to the plastic, and it ripped it out. When I was pulling the wheelies, it was just too much pressure on it and just ripped it out of the plastic. So that was a total fail. I'm gonna have to set it up a little bit lower, or get a longer bolt, I guess, turnbuckle, so that I can set this a little bit higher if I need to. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. The servo savers, I was using these holes right here on the outside to make it fit with the Metal Gear servo, but what was happening is when I was spinning it to the side, this being so far back was causing the servo to get caught. So I'm going back to using the front holes on the servo saver. That should fix the steering problem. I went ahead and adjusted the springs a little bit, I guess. Brought it down on the springs to make it a little bit tighter, and kind of brings the wheels down just slightly. And that's where I'm at. I'll try to put a video as soon as I get a chance to show you guys what it does with the 3S power and this gear ratio. Okay, thanks for watching.